The betrayal that made me stronger. WhatsApp, Secret Mariages Fã. Today, I'm sharing a story that's been weighing on my heart for a long time. It's about a family betrayal so deep, it literally changed the course of my life. Have you ever been blindsided by someone you trusted? I mean, totally floored? That's what happened to me. I was just a kid, 16 years old, and my world was turned upside down by a single lie from a family member. For 10 years, I've kept this story to myself, but it's time to finally get it out there. This isn't just my story, it's a lesson in resilience, and I promise you, you're not gonna want to miss a second of this. Delay da história verifinha parte. Back when I was a teenager, my cousin, let's call her Laura, was a bit older than me. We used to be close, but as we got older, we drifted apart. She was dealing with some serious drama with her dad, my uncle. He had sacrificed everything to raise her right, even saved up for her college. But when he told her it was time for her to start taking responsibility for her own life, she totally lost it. She thought he owed her everything, forever. This led to a ton of arguments, and she'd often come to my house to vent to my mom. I'd mostly stay out of it, but one day, she came over when I was home alone. She was in a rage after another fight with her dad and started ranting. I couldn't help it, I spoke my mind. I told her my uncle was right. He had done his part, and it was her turn to step up. I suggested that if she couldn't handle working and studying, maybe she wasn't ready for college. It was tough love, and she wasn't ready for it. She blew up, called me a spoiled brat, and stormed out crying. The next day, she accused me of something terrible, an assault that never happened. My parents, without even giving me a chance to explain, chose to believe her. Why? Because they saw her leave our house crying on the security camera. That was their proof. It was insane. They took her side, kicked me out of the house, and sent me to live with my grumpy great-uncle. They even gave my college fund, the money I'd worked my whole life for, to her, as a way to keep her quiet. I was 16. E had nothing. They threatened to ruin my reputation if I ever tried to contact them or anyone else. I was utterly alone. My journey back from the bottom. That was the hardest time of my life. I was living with a relative who hated having me there. He was a volatile, angry man who constantly reminded me that I was a burden. At school, I was an outsider. I had no one to lean on. I felt like a ghost, just existing. But after a few weeks, something clicked. I realized I was innocent. Their choices didn't define me. I had to fight for myself. I knew I couldn't stay with my great-uncle forever. I found a part-time job at a warehouse, and the work was brutal, but it was my ticket out. Isave deveri penny. I had this fire inside me. I was going to prove them all wrong. A few of my co-workers were in the same boat, trying to make it on their own. We decided to split an apartment and became roommates. They became my family. The ones who stuck by me when my own blood turned their backs. We eventually left the warehouse and started our own cleaning supply business. We went door to door, selling soap and detergents. It was a grind, but we were a team. We hustled, learned on the job, and slowly, we built something real. 10 years later, that little startup is a thriving company. We've got our own trucks, our own warehouses, and we're doing great. I bought my own house. Invested my money wisely. My roommates are my business partners now, and they are the only family I have. Here's where it gets crazy, you guys. About a month ago, I got an email from my dad. 10 years of silence, and suddenly he wants to talk. He says Laura confessed the truth to my uncle, and they all realized they were wrong. They wanted to apologize in person and talk about something important. De final showdown. So, I agreed to meet them. Honestly, a part of me was just curious to see what they wanted. I met them at a coffee shop. They looked old and tired. The second I sat down, they started with the apologies. But then, the real reason for the meeting came out. Laura had been diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, and they needed me to pay for her treatment. My blonde code. They hadn't reached out because they felt guilty. They reached out because they needed my money. The same people who left me on the street were now begging me for help for the person who put me there. I had built my entire life on my own. I had no safety net. No one to call. No one to ask for help. And now, They saw me as a walking ATM. I was furious. I told them they made their choices a decade ago, and I had made mine. I walked out and haven't looked back. A few days later, Laura emailed me directly. The email was full of excuses, not apologies. She blamed her anger at her dad, said she was young and confused. She even suggested that her cancer was some kind of karma for her actions. But what she really wanted was money. I didn't respond. I blocked her email. I was done with the manipulation. Here's the thing, and this is the main lesson I want to share with all of you. It's easy to say, forgive and forget, but sometimes you can't. Sometimes, the betrayal is so deep that you have to choose yourself. You can't keep giving people second chances when they never gave you a first one. I didn't help her, and I don't regret it. A few months later, I heard from a distant relative that Laura had passed away. I didn't feel happy or sad. I just felt empty. It was like I was hearing about a stranger. The person she used to be died to me a long time ago. My life is now a testament to what you can do when you fight for yourself. My friends, my business, my home, that's my family. The family shows. And that's a bond no one can ever take away. If you're going through something similar, remember this, you are not defined by the actions of others. You have the power to rebuild. And sometimes, the most empowering thing you can do is to walk away from the people who hold you back. Join the conversation and stay connected. If this story resonated with you, hit that like button and leave a comment below. I want to hear your thoughts. Have you ever had to cut ties with a toxic family member? Tell me your story. And for more real-life raw stories that will make you question everything you thought you knew about relationships, make sure you're subscribed to Secret Marriages. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss a single upload. Thank you for watching. Until next time.